Have you ever noticed how easily we lose our peace? A small insult, a careless comment, a disrespectful gesture, and suddenly we feel fire rising inside us. Anger takes over. Our mood is ruined, our words become sharp, and later we regret what we said or did. But what if I told you there is a way to live above all of this? A way to never get angry or disturbed by anyone, no matter what they say, no matter what they do. Imagine walking through life untouchable, calm, and unshakable. That is not a fantasy. That is the power of Stoicism. The Stoics believed that anger is not strength, it is weakness. Seneca, one of Rome's greatest philosophers, wrote, "Anger is like falling into temporary madness. When we allow someone else to disturb us, we give them power over us. But when we master our emotions, we take that power back." Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher king, reminded himself daily, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. In this video, we are going to uncover the Stoic secret to never getting angry or disturbed by anyone. You will learn not just ideas, but practical methods to master your emotions, rise above insults, and remain calm no matter what life throws at you. This is not about suppressing your feelings. It is about transforming them into clarity, wisdom, and inner peace. Part 1. Why anger never helps. Let's begin with the simple truth. Anger never helps. At first, it feels powerful. It gives us energy, it makes us feel like we are standing up for ourselves. But the Stoics warned that anger is deceptive. It gives the illusion of strength, while in reality, it weakens us. Seneca described anger as a brief madness. Think about that. When we are angry, we lose reason, we lose perspective, and we say or do things that later fill us with regret. Have you ever shouted at someone in the heat of the moment, only to wish later that you had stayed silent? That regret is the proof that anger does not serve us. It betrays us. Epictetus, another Stoic philosopher, taught that other people's actions cannot truly harm us. Only our reaction can. If someone insults you, their words have no physical power. They are just sounds in the air. But the moment you react with anger, you wound yourself. You hand over your peace, your clarity, your dignity, all because of someone else's behavior. The Stoics believed that to be ruled by anger is to be a slave. If anyone can disturb your peace, they control you. True freedom, according to Stoicism, is emotional independence, the ability to remain calm even when provoked. Let's take a simple example. Imagine you are driving and someone cuts you off. Instantly, anger flares up. You might yell, honk, or carry that irritation with you for the rest of the day. But ask yourself, did your anger fix anything? Did it make the road safer? Or did it only damage your peace of mind? Now imagine instead you take a deep breath and remind yourself, this is not worth my energy. You continue your drive calmly. That is not weakness, that is strength, because you chose not to be disturbed. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "When you are offended at any man's fault, turn to yourself and study your own failings. Then you will forget your anger." In other words, instead of feeding anger, use the moment to grow in humility and patience. The Stoic view is clear. Anger is never useful. Clarity is useful. Calmness is useful. Self-control is useful. And when you practice these, you stop being a puppet pulled by the strings of other people's actions. So the first step in the Stoic secret is this. Understand deeply that anger is not your friend. It does not protect you, it does not strengthen you, and it certainly does not bring respect. What brings respect is the ability to remain calm in the storm, to look anger in the eye and say, "You do not control me." Part 2. Mastering perception. If anger is the fire that burns us, perception is the spark that starts it. The Stoics understood that it is not events themselves that disturb us, but the way we see those events. Epictetus said it best, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Think about it. If someone calls you a fool, their words are just sounds in the air. If you believe those sounds, if you give them meaning, you feel hurt and angry. But if you see those words as nothing more than someone else's opinion, suddenly they lose all power. The Stoics trained themselves daily to master their perception. They practiced pausing before reacting. They would ask, is this really harmful? Or is it only my judgment that makes it harmful? This small shift in perspective is the difference between slavery to emotion and freedom of the mind. Marcus Aurelius gave himself this reminder. If you are pained by external things, it is not they that disturb you, but your judgment of them. And it is in your power to wipe out that judgment now. Here's a practical exercise. The next time someone offends you, imagine their words written on a wall. They are just symbols, shapes of letters. Do they have any power to hurt you? No, it is only when you attach meaning, when you decide to be hurt, that the pain enters. Stoicism teaches us to create space between event and reaction. Instead of being a prisoner of instant emotion, you pause, you breathe, and you reframe. For example, instead of saying, "He insulted me," say, "He expressed his opinion." That small shift robs the insult of its sting. The Stoics also used journaling as a way to master perception. At the end of each day, Marcus Aurelius wrote in his journal, reflecting on how he could have seen situations differently. You can do the same. Write down the events that disturbed you and then ask, could I have seen this in a different light? Over time, your mind learns to see with calmness instead of anger. Remember this, no one can disturb you without your consent. Your perception is the gatekeeper of your peace. If you guard that gate wisely, nothing can enter without your permission. Part 3. Detachment from others' opinions. One of the greatest sources of anger and disturbance is our attachment to what others think of us. We want to be respected, praised, admired. And when we are criticized, ignored, or insulted, our ego flares up. But the Stoics taught that true freedom begins when you stop living for other people's opinions. Epictetus gave a powerful truth. If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid. Think about that. How much energy do we waste trying to prove ourselves right, trying to win arguments, trying to look good in the eyes of others? This need for approval is what makes us vulnerable to anger. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, choose not to be harmed, and you won't be. Don't feel harmed, and you haven't been. In other words, what people say or think about you is powerless, unless you decide to hand it power. Imagine someone laughs at you in public. One reaction is to burn with anger, to feel humiliated. Another reaction, the Stoic reaction, is to smile calmly. To remind yourself, their opinion does not define me, because it doesn't. Their laughter reflects their character, not your worth. Seneca put it bluntly, we are more often frightened than hurt, and we suffer more in imagination than in reality. The fear of others' judgment creates anger inside us, but it is only a phantom. The reality is simple. Their words cannot change who you are. The Stoics practiced detachment by constantly reminding themselves of what is in their control and what is not. Other people's thoughts, not in your control. Your response, entirely in your control. The moment you let go of needing approval, you become untouchable. Here's a mental practice you can try. The next time someone criticizes you, silently say, this is their perspective, not the truth. Or even smile inwardly, thinking they are free to speak, and I am free not to be disturbed. Over time, you build what the Stoics called an inner fortress. No opinion, no insult, no rejection can shake you, because you no longer tie your peace to the shifting winds of other people's minds. That is real power, the power of detachment. Part 4. Building an inner fortress of calm. If you want to be unshakable, you must build a fortress inside your mind. The Stoics believed that true strength is not about conquering others, but about conquering yourself. Marcus Aurelius, who ruled the most powerful empire of his time, wrote in his journal, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." What did he mean? That no matter what chaos surrounds you, if your inner world is steady, nothing can break you. The Stoics used daily practices to strengthen this inner fortress. One of them was negative visualization. Each morning, they imagined possible difficulties, insults, disrespect, loss, or hardship. By picturing these events ahead of time, they stripped them of their power. If it happened, they were prepared. If it didn't, they felt grateful. Epictetus taught, "Don't hope that events will turn out the way you want. Welcome events in whichever way they happen. This is the path to peace." When you expect life to flow perfectly, you are fragile. But when you expect challenges and accept them, you become unshakable. Another practice was mindful silence. When provoked, instead of responding immediately, the Stoics practiced holding back. Seneca wrote, "The greatest remedy for anger is delay." Try it yourself. The next time someone says something offensive, pause. Take a breath. In that small space between stimulus and response lies your power. Finally, the Stoics reflected every night. Marcus Aurelius would ask himself, "Did I master my emotions today, or did they master me?" You can do the same through journaling, writing down the moments when you were disturbed and asking how you could have responded differently. Over time, this practice strengthens your inner fortress. Calmness is not weakness. It is the highest form of self-mastery. The stronger your fortress, the less the outside world can disturb you. Part 5. Turning anger into strength. The Stoics did not only teach us how to avoid anger, they showed us how to transform it into strength. Anger, after all, is just energy, misdirected energy. If you can redirect it, it becomes a force for growth. Seneca wrote, "No man is more unhappy than he who never faces adversity, for he is not permitted to prove himself." Every insult, every irritation, every disrespectful act is a chance to prove your strength. Instead of letting anger burn you, use it as fuel to grow. Think of anger like a wild horse. If left uncontrolled, it will throw you off and trample you. But if you harness it, if you guide its energy, it becomes a powerful ally. How do you do that? By turning anger into patience, discipline, and focus. For example, when someone disrespects you, instead of reacting with rage, use that moment to train your patience. Say to yourself, "This is my practice. This is my test." Each insult becomes a workout for your self-control. Marcus Aurelius gave this reminder: when someone does you wrong, they harm themselves, not you, because they make themselves unjust. In other words, their action is a reflection of their weakness, not your worth. Recognizing this turns your anger into compassion and clarity. Another way to transform anger is by channeling it into purposeful action. Instead of wasting energy in arguments, redirect it into building yourself, studying, creating, improving. The Stoics believed that the best revenge is not to retaliate, but to rise higher. As Marcus said, the best revenge is not to be like your enemy. So next time you feel anger rising, don't fight it blindly. Pause, breathe, and ask, how can I turn this energy into growth? That is the Stoic way, not to suppress anger, but to transform it into strength. We began with a simple but painful truth. People can disturb us, insult us, and disrespect us, but only if we allow them. The Stoics understood that anger is weakness, while calm is strength. They gave us a roadmap to live untouchable, to rise above the noise, and to never be enslaved by anyone else's words or actions. Think about what we have explored together. Anger never helps. It clouds judgment, weakens us, and leaves us with regret. Perception is everything. Insults are only words until you choose to give them meaning. Detachment from others' opinions frees you from the prison of approval. Building an inner fortress through daily practices makes you unshakable. And finally, turning anger into strength transforms irritation into opportunity. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, if you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it, and this you have the power to revoke at any moment. That is the Stoic secret. Not to change the world, but to change how you meet the world. So the next time someone tries to provoke you, remember, you are not their puppet. You are not their slave. You are free. You are in control of your mind, and no one can disturb your peace unless you give them permission. But here's the challenge: wisdom is useless without practice. These Stoic principles only transform your life if you live them daily. Start small. Pause before reacting, reframe insults, and remind yourself that other people's opinions are powerless. Slowly, you will see yourself becoming calmer, stronger, and untouchable. If this message resonated with you, give this video a like and share it with someone who needs these reminders. And don't forget to subscribe for more Stoic wisdom that will guide you in building a calm, powerful, and unshakable mind. I leave you with one last reminder from Seneca: the greatest remedy for anger is delay. Pause, breathe, and choose calmness. That is where your true power lies.